We are Marc, Amy, Juliette and Clement from the medieval Chateau de Rosieres. This Christmas we've made you a very special advent calendar. Every day from the 1st to the 25th of December we will open the door to a different room in the chateau and introduce you to its past, present and future. Merry Christmas.
Hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of our Chateau Advent Calendar. And as we get further into December, it's getting very cold, which coincides with the time that we're showing you the top floor that is rather derelict and has no heating. And so today I'm a bit more wrapped up than normal. And what are we showing them today, Marc?
Today we are showing you actually more than one room because it's a place that has been partitioned, but we might end up removing some of them.
So this is actually quite a good place to explain some things to people. I love so many of you are really getting enthusiastic about the ideas and how we might change stuff and making suggestions. And something that seems to be coming up quite a lot is people are saying, well, since you're remodeling, why not do X, Y, Z? And what I think is not totally clear is that this is mainly a medieval fortress. And so when you've got the medieval fortress bit, the walls are metre thick stone walls and they run all the way through the chateau. So what happened was when they decided to modernise it at different points, the 18th century, the 19th century, the 20th century, in each of those periods they were using much lighter, less defensive materials, and they were able to partition previously big open sections. So the upshot for us is that there are the core of the building is completely unchangeable. I mean, it's just massive. We had to put a sewage pipe through an outside wall because we just didn't have any access to sewage on that side of the chateau, and it took a 2 metre long boring machine to go through it. So you can't just put in laundry chutes or things like this. There's these huge walls in the way, and we'll show you more of that in future.
It was a boring job.
It's his favourite joke. But then you get to the individual sections of the chateau. It's essentially in quarters. And within those sections, you have very, very thin walls, way too thin, actually. The rooms, as they currently are, you can hear everything from room to room. And when those partitions are later than 19th century or even 18th century, so the ones done in the 1870s, restorations, and the ones in the 20th century, we have no hesitation in taking them out and making the room the shape that we want it to be. And it's quite easy to do, as you can see on the wall behind us.
This wall is partly broken because we removed the door frame that we reused in the coach house when we did the renovations. We took it from here because it was a nice door and because we knew we were going to knock down these partitions. Yeah. Interestingly, there was some kind of lime plaster on the wall, and behind it we found these very beautiful old bricks. And so when we demolish the rest of the wall, we will try to get as many as possible, because they are really nicely made, handmade tiles.
Yeah, we try not to destroy anything that we take out. Even if we don't like it, we feel someone else might like it. But these ones, yeah, they're really nice.
And these ones we are definitely going to reuse somewhere.
Because they would work as a flooring as well as a wall.
As a flooring or as a fireplace bricks, or things like that.
Do you know when they date from?
I think probably they could be any time between 18th and mid-19th century. After that time period, they started using hollow bricks that were cheaper. Well, that were the industrialized, so cheaper to make, and they used less clay. So and they had also better insulation properties. And so some of the other partition will knock down, so which is part of the same one, was actually made from hollow bricks. So it means they might have had a stock of old little bricks to begin with, and when they used the stock, they bought new hollow bricks at the time. So it's probably, I would date this partition to the mid-19th century, probably.
One of the reasons we know that this room was partitioned later is because there's this fabulous built-in cupboard here. It's absolutely beautiful, and if it had been the centerpiece for a room, you wouldn't have been building a wall along here, because this room, when we arrived, was a corridor with two closed off rooms that we've partially opened now. And this, along with the beautiful ceilings and beams that we're exposing, show that it was once a magnificent prestige room. And this dates from around the 18th century, isn't it?
Yeah, early 18th century. The style is Louis XIV. It's what the most characteristic feature is this pattern that's inscribed in a square. It's symmetrical because at the time it was before the Baroque period when they started introducing asymmetry. And it's very regular, quite straight lines, and
That's not a very straight line.
No, but in general, it doesn't have the exuberance of the Baroque style, but it starts prefiguring it with quite intricate patterns.
Yeah.
And there was a tradition of cabinet making in the village, so it's quite likely that this cupboard was actually made locally. But stylistically, Ardèche was one of the most advanced place for design and stuff, because there was hardly anybody living here. There still isn't, actually. But so they would just import the styles from the neighboring areas, and the main cultural area was down the Rhône Valley. So this is a style you find in the northern Rhône Valley in the area of Lyon, and all the Dauphiné area, which goes all the way to Savoie and southern Switzerland, basically.
And that's what these bits come from.
So yeah, you find similar things elsewhere in France, but the general ornamentations is found a lot in furniture from Lyon. This cupboard was probably not painted originally because it's made of a very nice walnut wood, which was a very noble wood. So it would have been wood colored originally. And the paint, the color of the paint, slightly gray, was quite fashionable in the 19th century. So it's probably an early 18th century piece of furniture that was painted in the 19th century. We have another really nice walnut cupboard that looks that's a bit more simple than the other one. It has straighter lines, so it was probably made a bit later. But what I really love about it is that there's still a key with a note on it, and the note says it's the key it's the corridor of the study room. For the cupboard in a natural walnut and the top part. So it indicates which key it was from.
The study room?
Yeah, and actually when we had the visit from Bruno Lavalette, who explained us about his memories from here, he lived in here between 1943 and 1947. And he said it was probably the place where his father had studied when he was a child. So it would have been, one of these rooms would have been used as a study room in the early 20th century.
Huh. Even though there was no heating or electricity.
No, but they had big jumpers at the time. There was actually some heating in this room because there's the blocked stovepipe. That so it means there would have been a little fire to keep warm when they were
studying. Is that chimney still active up there?
This is the. It probably joins up the chimney from the bedroom underneath.
Okay.
I don't know. We've never tried, and I don't know if it's blocked or not.
This room is currently used to store boxes of collections and things we've moved around the world with, mostly Marc's scientific collections. But in the future, we hope it's going to be our bedroom. And it's a bit of a conundrum how we change this, because the room as a whole is absolutely beautiful. If we took down these partitions, it would be this wonderful, big, open room. But that's not always the most comfortable we've found to sleep in. We love sleeping in more cosy bedrooms and having a dressing room and a bathroom and maybe a little sitting area. We could divide it up like that. And we really keep swinging back and forth because the proportions of the room are beautiful if it's all open. But then what do you do about an ensuite bathroom, which is something we would love to have? Because this wall here, the big wall along there, and then the outside walls are so thick, there's nothing going through them. So we can divide it up by having just a small bathroom on one corner and a little alcove. We can make one like that. As you've seen in other parts of the chateau, it's usual to have these alcoves and still have a massive room. Or we can divide it up into a little complex of rooms for us. And we just keep swinging back and forth on that. And the one thing that's for sure is we're really excited to move in here at some point.
We actually visited other castles in the area, other medieval castles, and we found some rooms with that kind of proportions, very big, long ceilings with massive beams and plafond à la française. This one was obviously designed to be looked at because it has little moldings along the beams. And it was there was obviously a lot of care that came into making this ceiling. So it's a really hard choice to know whether we keep it as a beautiful grand room, because aesthetically it's what I would like the best. But would it be comfortable to do that? That's another issue.
We also have to think about light, don't we? Because there are only 3 windows for this large space, and there's one big gap where I think there should be a window. And we come back and forth on whether we open a window in that part or not. I'm thinking of doing a deal.
I personally wouldn't, because I think it's very light already with only 3 windows.
Yeah, but we're going to have to take one of the windows out for a bathroom if we have an ensuite. So then you're reduced to 2 for a very big area. And if you want to open the 2 windows in the living room, then I get a window up here. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, let's leave everything closed.